We're not there yet, and it's always very dangerous to count your chickens before they're hatched. But I think from the data that I've got coming in across the United Kingdom, it does look to me, although UKIP is going to win this election, and yes, that will be an earthquake because, never before in the history of British politics has a party that would be seen to be an insurgent party ever top the polls in a national election.
Okay. What do you think will be the big news item of these European elections?
Well, obviously the growth of Euroscepticism. There's always been a degree of scepticism around the continent, but I think since the European project made its two massive mistakes, firstly the Eurozone, which clearly doesn't work and has left a vast swathe of the Mediterranean now stuck in a downward deflationary spiral, and secondly the enlargement of the Union to bring in the former Soviet bloc countries with the rights of free movement between poor and rich countries. And they've been the two great errors. And I think that in the last 5 years, those errors have been seen to be real mistakes. And we're going to get, a good number of Eurosceptics elected to the European Parliament. Whether that makes a big difference in European politics remains to be seen, but it's going to make a very big difference in the domestic politics, particularly of the member states, predominantly in the north of Europe. And I think that up until now, European integration, whether one liked it or not, always seemed to be inevitable. And I think that inevitability will end with these results tonight.
Well, as you said, the failing Euro project has engendered poverty and unemployment to millions across Europe. Do you think that this has played a large impact on the European elections yourself?
Oh, I do. And I think that, repeated bailouts of countries, enabling them to stay members of the euro, and yet, a few years on, people can see that that's actually given no economic benefits at all, has led to a widespread scepticism, a scepticism in the south that actually things may not get better, and a scepticism in the north that perhaps they're going to have to go on endlessly, putting their hands in their pockets. So I think that what the euro has done is to divide Europe between north and south in a way that actually the European project was supposed to stop. I mean, there is a degree of enmity that we've seen over the course of the last 3 or 4 years between the Germans and the Greeks. And the European project was supposed to bring us closer together and to love each other a little bit more.
Hello, Nigel. How are you keeping?
Hello.
Having a good week?
I'm very well, thank you.
Very good.
I think so.
The gravedigger of national democracy, your friend Herman Van Rompuy, said that he wants the EU to expand eastwards, even though the public are opposed to this. What do you think of that?
Well, I think the European Union, as I said already, one of its historic errors was to expand too far to the east and to let in the former Soviet bloc countries, and to do that with free movement of people when the minimum wage in Britain is 9 times that of Romania, perhaps explains why there is depopulation going on. But what really worries me is we have an emerging European Union foreign policy. And my goodness me, haven't we seen that played out in the Ukraine? Because over the course of the last 10 years, and I'm not just blaming Brussels, because the British politicians have supported this too, but the message that's been going out to the Ukrainian people from Brussels and from NATO actually as well, not just the EU, is that they want the Ukraine to become part of the European Union and part of NATO. And my feeling is that actually the European Union has sent a false message of hope, particularly to the Western Ukrainians, the more Catholic community. And I believe the EU directly played a role in toppling, maybe corrupt, but a democratically elected government in the Ukraine. And frankly, if you poke the Russian bear with a stick, don't be surprised when he reacts.
Yeah. There's still 2 more minutes.
Yeah.
2 more minutes.
The EPP candidate, Jean-Claude Juncker, said that when it gets serious, you have to lie. Is it good that this man would be in charge of an EU communication budget of €2.4 billion per year?
Well, it wouldn't inspire much confidence, would it? But then again, the whole European project's been a lie from the start, in my view, because it was sold to people as being about trade and cooperation. The people were never honestly told that it was about forming a new United States of Europe. And when it really came to the crunch, in 2005, and there was a referendum on the Constitution. The French rejected it, the Dutch rejected it, many of the rest of us, given the chance, would have rejected it. And what did they do in Brussels? They rebranded it as the Lisbon Treaty. They didn't surrender a single power, and they carried on with the project of integration. And ever since that day, I've had no respect for the project at all. I don't just want Britain to leave the European Union, I want Europe to leave the European Union. I don't believe that flag, that anthem, and that president, whose name no one knows, really represent what Europe should be.
It's time for just one short question.
Roger Nesbitt,
Roger.
Sky News, please. Robert Nesbitt of Sky News. Yeah.
Yep.
Two quick questions, if I may, Mr. Farage.
Just one
Yeah.
question. Just one question.
Well, you talked about the big prize being trying to disrupt the new Commission. Is that what you intend to do with your allies in the European Parliament, to try to block the Commission, whoever is proposed to be running it?
Well, I mean, if there is a wide Eurosceptic alliance and an opportunity to block the appointment of an outright raving federalist, from what I can see all the candidates are, then yes, we try to do so. But I still think that the real effect of these elections, with big Eurosceptic gains in many countries, will be less what happens in Brussels and more what happens within the member states. And I think the day when we have more referendums on EU membership and membership of the euro will have come much, much closer with these results tonight.